Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. I was going to start by telling you that it has not been a good day so far. Everything that could has. And that just happened just now. I tried to get this thing to go live, and it said, nope, we're not connected. So I had to go see what happened, and sure enough, they changed my IP address again. I don't know how that gets changed. It's so crazy. It's just nuts. Anyway, we're here. We're live. It just... did you ever hear it's not easy being me? Well, it definitely wasn't easy being me this morning, because pretty much everything that could did, including going live. On other notes, JR and Isaac both got deer this morning. JR got a really big buck. I don't know. I don't have a picture of it. I could have taken a picture of it, but I figure I'll let him show that on his channel if he wants to show it. But it was a pretty darn big buck. Bigger than pretty much anything I have on the wall here, by a little bit. Maybe as big as Tim. I've mentioned that this young guy, Tim, had killed 2 deer, and both of them were the biggest bucks that anybody killed here. And I would say they were the one JR got was equal to that this morning. Good size buck, probably in the 150 class or real close to that. Then Isaac got a big doe, so they've got good meat for their freezer then. As far as tomorrow evening goes, well, I kind of fixed the crazy problem, the fact that I can't play crazy. I invited Tony to come with his guitar and play crazy so that he could play that and Yolanda could sing it. So tomorrow evening we'll have Tony here. Tony's the guy that generally plays the fiddle lately. And Yolanda will be here singing, and I'll be here making noise like usual. I made it through the first draft of the D28 video yesterday afternoon. It took me till 4:30 yesterday afternoon. I started on it as soon as we finished the vlog yesterday. I was intending on working on the dump truck, but I'll give you that update here in a minute. But anyway, right presently that video is about 1 hour and 20 minutes, and I really do think it's got some very good tips and tricks in there. So I'll try to get that out by Friday for sure. I did work on the dump truck this morning, and here's a short clip of how that started. Well, my friends, we are fogged in this morning. I sat out on stand for a little while this morning, mostly just looking for either a giant buck, which I don't expect to see, or hopefully seeing another wild hog that may be still around, or even some coyotes. But unfortunately, I don't think there are any coyotes anymore. And I say unfortunately because I like them. I don't want to see them all gone, that's for darn sure. So anyway, haven't seen any sign of them. So I came back early to look at this dump truck and see what the problem is. I figured it was probably the worst case scenario, probably the radiator leaking, but I don't think it is. I see this staining down the front here, and I thought that was but I think that's just from dripping over the front edge here and stuff. I put pressure on this. I filled it up with water, put pressure on it, and then I saw it start leaking over here. And when I do this, if I spin this around, maybe, I don't know if you'll see water coming out of there or not, but anyway, this shouldn't be, there it is. You see the water coming out of there? That shouldn't be happening. So it's a bad water pump for sure. So at least the good news is it's easy to get to. The bad news is it's not easy to get to. Water pumps are never easy. I mean, this one's as easy as it gets though, so I can't complain. It's about as easy as it possibly could be. There's just nothing in these engine compartments of these old engines. Down there, in that hole down there is where the starter goes. And so I've got to put the new Bendix on the starter and get that reinstalled. Got to get the new water pump fixed. And then once we get those two things fixed, then we got to make sure it actually runs right, which it wasn't the last time we ran it. It's not easy being me. Definitely not. So, you can see there that it's easy to get to, except that it's not easy to get to. I ended up having to take the shroud off of the radiator, which you kind of expect that. But I also had to take the thermostat off, which is right above the water pump. Had to take that off. And then one of the bolts was froze so solid on that water pump that I knew I was going to twist it off. I mean, I was twisting like, just nobody's business, and it would not come loose. So I got out my little propane torch and heated the block right there in that spot for a while, a couple minutes, and finally was able to get that bolt to break loose. And I did get all the bolts out without breaking them, but they're in pretty bad shape. Then I started calling around locally if anybody could get me a water pump, and no one around here could. So I got online later, and when I first looked online, I couldn't find one online. But then I just did a general search instead of being in Amazon. And on the general search, I think it was called Parts Geek or something like that. Anyway, they had 6 of them. So I ordered one, and it looks exactly like what I need. So anyway, it's on its way here. And I'll be able to put a water pump back on there and fix that up, hopefully. Let's see. And then the title of today's vlog says, do I need this? Do I really need this? The answer is no, I don't. But here it is. I'll show it to you. Nellie, the one I'm selling the instruments for, she insisted I take this when I was there giving her money on Friday. I don't need this. I don't know if I can pick it up. It's heavy. Can you see it? Do you know what it is? I don't know if I know the official name. It's a Edison sort of like cylinder record player or something like that. Here's some of the records. Edison Blue Amber record. And I don't know what song is on this one. I haven't looked at them that close yet to see if it tells you if there's anything on here or not. Might just be Edison talking for all I know. And then I have another one. And again, the print on this part is so small, I'd have to get something to read it. But anyway, it came with 2 of those. This is the lid to it. You can see it's all in real good shape. So, it looks like a lot of work. Then she threw this in too. I don't know if this goes to it or not, but it might. It might. This crank does. And apparently the spring in this works, because when I flip this one lever on here, I could hear something spinning on the inside. So I think the unit mechanically kind of works. And then this, I don't know if this, I think this, she had these 2 things put together. I don't think they go together. They don't look like they go together. So she threw that in with it, thinking that might be part of it. And she threw this in too, which I don't think this is part of it either. But this is kind of cool looking. What'd you say, Sonny? Huh. Believe it or not, I can hear myself talking through that. That's pretty amazing. That's really loud. In fact, I didn't try that before. That's really amazing. You can really hear through that thing. I think I'll just take this out of my deer stand and point it toward where I think I can hear a deer. That's amazing. That thing really does pick up. Well, anyway, I don't think I needed that. I just, to me, I just look up and see work. That's all I see right there. And then what I forgot to tell you is that just before we went live, or a little bit before, about 30 minutes before, Sue says the meat grinder's not working and it's making a noise. And so I go in there and it sounds like it's grinding rocks. So I take it all apart and turn it on while it's all apart. It's still making that noise, but I don't see nothing that's should be making a noise like that. I even took the gears part of it and it was still making the noise. I couldn't figure it out. And then one of the wires broke and I fixed the wire and then I plugged it back in and turned it on and it started for a second and it quit. So I said, just get a new meat grinder. That's all I can think of right now. Does anybody have a recommendation for a good meat grinder? Because I want a good heavy duty one that's, like I think at least a 1 horsepower at minimum. I don't know. But if anybody has a good recommendation for a good solid made one that's going to, last. The one we had was from Northern Tool or Northern Industrial, whatever you want to call it. It was their name brand, and it worked for a number of years, but I don't think it's really had that much use to sound as bad as it sounded today. It really sounded like you were grinding rocks and there was nothing in it. And I took it all apart and I didn't see anything that would make that sound. I don't know. Couldn't figure it out. So I just said, get a new one. Let's see. First one in today was Ronald Todd. He says, good afternoon, Jerry, from the West Banks of New Jersey. BH Ringers there from Nova Scotia. And Joe Cool USA wishing everybody a pleasant afternoon. David Tharp says, howdy, everybody. Look at it this way. The sooner you fall behind, the more time you'll have to catch up. No, I never thought of it like that, but that's the way I need to start thinking of it because I got a lot of catching up to do. I'm telling you, everything that can around here seems to be broken all the time lately. It's just driving me crazy. Dottie's praying for everybody. Thank you, Dottie. Man, do I need it. Let's see. David Tharp says, induction, the act of inserting ducts. Deduction, the act of removing ducts. Reduction, the act of replacing worn out duct with a fresh duct. Well, now I'll know what all that means next time I hear it. Let's see. Kim Z's there from Arizona. See, Gino Hitch says, hope everyone's having a wonderful day. And let's see, David Tharp says, job interviewer, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Interviewee, I'd say my biggest weakness is listening. Okay. Let's see. Bill Webb says, good afternoon. And it scrolled on me here. Dottie says, hit the like button. It helps the channel. And I would appreciate it if you would do that. After we went live there, David Tharp says, my uncle used to say, when one door closes, another door will always open. He was a wonderful philosopher, but a lousy cabinet maker. I have that problem. I've got a couple cabinets down there in my workshop that's kind of like that. You close one door, another door opens. Bo Horn says, hi, Jerry and the gang. I'm sitting on my patio getting bombarded by acorns falling from my oak trees. Good thing my swing has a canopy, or I would need a hard hat. They've pretty much already fallen here, I think. I don't think there's too many acorns fallen at this point. Let's see. Dottie says, can I make a request? Build my mansion or help us on the way? Well, Dottie, you're the one that can always make the requests. I'll see what I can do. I'll write it down. Let's see. Bill Webb says, we call that blue wrench when we have to put heat on it. Yep, that's exactly what I needed. And that was missing too this morning. I mean, that's just another thing that was a pain. I went to get my propane torch, the MAP gas torch, which is hotter, and it wasn't there. Somehow or another, it had found its way into the laundry room. I don't know how it got there. Let's see. Stephen Thomas, cylinder record player. My brother worked for the Lassiter Reminder Company, who banned many of these in storage. Who had many of these in storage, I guess. Well, this one here, I don't know. I haven't looked to see if there's a brand or anything on this thing. Looks like there was a label right here, maybe. I don't know if it's an actual Edison one or if it's something else. I don't see a name on it anywhere. Moving it around here. Here's another look at it again. That's where the crank goes, I think. And then there's a deal on the side there. That's probably something to do with speed, I would imagine. Though I don't know that for sure either. On the top, I don't see... Oh, wait a minute. There might be something written there. No, I don't think so. I don't see any name on it anywhere. Put that down on the ground because that thing's heavy. All I know is it's just one more project that I don't have time for. If I had time for a project like that, I'd probably work on my grandmother's old Zenith radio. I don't have time for that either. Let's see. Steve Thomas says, that's the one I just read. Sorry. Bob says, I'd be willing to bet you'd drag that thing up there. You'd drag that thing up there. Okay. I'm not sure what he means there. Ronald Todd says, Cabela's has a large variety of meat and sausage grinders. Well, that's a good place to check. David Tharp, there was a man who recently died because nobody could determine what his blood type was, but they all remember his last inspirational words. He whispered, "Be positive." That's funny. I've told it several times before, but when I had to give blood for my mother, she was having some major operations. I guess it was back in the early 70s. In fact, it was before that even. But anyway, I was at the hospital, and I didn't know my blood type. And the little girl, she was, I guess, new at doing what she was doing. And so she first took it, and she said, she said, I forget, I think she said, "You have AB." And then she goes, "Wow, that's really rare," or something like that. And then she got the RH factor or whatever it is, and she says, "You have AB negative." And she went running down the hall screaming, "He's got AB negative. He's got AB negative." I told you I'm just a genetic defect. Let's see. But I think I'm supposed to be a universal recipient, of what I understand. Michael Bennett says, belated condolences. Okay, he's talking to Dottie there. Yeah, Dottie, I'm so sorry about your mother. That's just horrible. Ben Boyd, my meat grinder is made by Lim. It's the 1 horsepower model and made to last. Well, that's the one I was looking at, but that one's $1,000. Golly, that's a lot of money for a meat grinder, but it was 900 and something. So by the time you get it, it's $1,000. You know how that works. Let's see. Don Nice, Jerry, how about the Mirror song, please? I'll write it down. I know I have to do the wedding band because I know Yolanda wants that one. And I'm also going to do Murder on Music Row because I want to. That's a cool song. It really is. Let's see. Bill Mumbo says Edison cylinder phonograph, wax rolls, also tinfoil versions and shellac versions. Yeah, and you know what I think? I could be wrong, but I kind of think this one, well, I'm probably wrong, but I guess this is a wax version, I guess, but it almost looks like it was 3D printed, but I don't think it is, now that I look at it closer. It's got lots of writing around the edges here, and I imagine it's an original tube. It's got, on the inside, you can see ridges in the tube on the inside. I don't really know much about it. Haven't had any experience with this style player before, so I guess I'll figure it out. I mean, I've seen them on TV or heard about them, but I don't know nothing about them. Let's see. Moving on down. Oh, he meant the phonograph horn. Okay, but now I can't remember what he said. I'd be willing to bet you drag that thing up there. Yeah, to my deer stand. Well, I tell you what, you'd be surprised how good that thing you can hear out of that thing. I'm not kidding you when I tell you that it's crazy. I can hear myself talking in that thing very clearly, except not as well in that ear, because that's the one that had Meniere's disease. I can hear much better in this ear. So, you never know. I might take it up there. It's pretty amazing how well you can hear out of that thing. Okay, let's see. Steve Thomas says, I'll send this picture to my brother in Springfield. Okay. Okay. Oh, for the record or for this record player thing. Cool. Okay, so Bob then says, I bet you drag that old horn up to your stand. Well, I hadn't thought of it until I just did that little demonstration for you guys, but now that I've done that, it wouldn't be a bad idea. It's hard to hear, like a deer walking in the woods, but with that, you can hear them coming from pretty far off. David Thar says, of all the canoes out there, volcanoes are the most dangerous. You know what? You're probably right on that. And Dottie says, I love that song, Murder on Music Row. It's a great song. At least it was co-written by Larry Cordell. I noticed there was somebody else that has credit for writing it too. They wrote it together. But Larry Cordell is a heck of a songwriter. He's, like I said, he wrote Highway 40 Blues, and he wrote Black Diamond Strings, and then Murder on Music Row. He also wrote another one I used to do. I haven't done it in a long time. It's Shade Tree Mechanic. It's a pretty funny song. Let's see. Ronald Todd says, I want to hear the songs you want to do. Well, thank you. Well, I think you'll like Murder on Music Row. It's just a classic, man. Yeah, Bob says, mount the horn in the tree in a comfy spot and just lean over. Yeah, you could do that. That would be good. It seriously amplifies the sound. I knew that worked. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I know back in the old days, a lot of the old people used stuff like that. But that thing works really good with that mega horn on it. Paul Akers says, a cool song, you could do a good job. David Ball, When the Thought of You. Yeah, When the Thought of You, that's a good one too. I do that one. The only problem is I didn't write down who's been requesting these this time. I just wrote down the titles. Let's see. Wasn't it Don Nice that wanted the Mirror song? I think it was. Build My Mansion is Dottie. I got that. And When the Thought of You is that's gonna kind of that's Paul Akers. That's gonna be more than I'll get done, I imagine, because of the other two people being here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. I might be able to squeeze one more in. I don't know. Let's see. Bill Mumble says, Jerry, you should put a kazoo in the horn and play it. It'd be really loud. It'd be like a trumpet or something. Mount on a swivel with a hose for your ear. Yeah. Let's see. Ronald Todd, you start walking around in the woods with that horn and somebody might mistake you for a moose. Yeah, that would be true. I'm impressed at how well that you can hear out of that thing, though. Michael 2X, did you check out Pathway of Teardrops? That's the one by Rhonda Vincent, isn't it? The Pathway of Teardrops. Da, 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 da. I remember that song, I think, from Rhonda, I think. Actually, Emery used to do that in our band when we were together. Garland Edmondson, no horn probably belongs to a Victrola. Yeah, that's what I figured, too. I didn't figure it belonged to this thing. I really didn't. In fact, it says Magnavox on it, so I'm pretty sure it's got nothing to do with this. She just insisted I take it along. Like I said, I don't necessarily think these go with it either. But they might. I mean, I haven't got into it yet to see, but she had these together with it, So I don't know. I don't even know what I can do with it. I guess, actually, that's pretty amazing, too. I'm hearing the dehumidifier running in the other room through that wall. It's amazing. It really is. I'm surprised how well that works. Let's see. Somebody is missing one. Yeah, that's the end of what he said about that Victrola thing. Bill Mumbo, apparently he wrote Sweet Home Alabama. Never knew that. Really? I didn't know that either. I know he's a good writer. He's a great bluegrass musician, and he has a great bluegrass band also. Larry Cordell and Lonesome Standard Time is his band name. Bob says, Deep River Blues is my favorite bluegrass song. Deep River Blues. I've heard it. I think Deep Ellum Blues. I'm not sure I know Deep River Blues. I'll see if I happen to be able to do that. And Bob, all I've got here for the username is Bob5074. Well, I'm not going to take any more requests than that because that's 6, and Yeah, I doubt I could fit more than that in with the other two people here. David Tharp says, it looks like an ear trumpet, antique hearing aid. Yeah, it kind of does. I mean, that's kind of the way they were made. This one here has a pretty large end on it. This one, smaller. I have a feeling they probably both went to some kind of old audio type machine, like a record player or something at one time or another. I'm pretty sure they're both antiques. They're pretty old. But I don't know what they went to for sure. All I know is I have them now. Like I need them. Whether I need them or not, I have them now. Let's see. 1066 Wastrell says, have you ever tried a Tonewood guitar effects unit? It should work on a mandolin. Interesting little acoustic. I think I have. I mean, I think I've seen them and tried one out or something, but, you know, we're just into acoustic, so the kind of gadgetry like that doesn't really do it for me. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, they're interesting. Don't get me wrong. I think they're cool little gadgets, but to me, they're just gadgets. Let's see. David Tharp says, look like an ear trumpet antique hearing aid. Yep. Okay, let's see. Bob 5074 says Bill Monroe. Well, he's a great songwriter and pretty good musician, too. And everybody has their opinion on his singing, but I think he was a pretty good singer, too. Steve Thomas, the recorder looked very similar to the cylinder players. Well, it's definitely a cylinder player. I mean, these go on there. I know it's a cylinder player, but that's about all I know about it. I don't know what brand or anything. Wayne Blitz says, good afternoon. Hope all's well. Keep everybody safe. Dottie says, that player is old and worth some money if it works. Well, yeah, it's in really bad falling apart shape, though, or at least the case and all the wood parts are falling apart. I think mechanically it might work based on the fact that when you push that button, it starts spinning. So anyway, Bob 507 says, I meant to say Doc Watson Deep River Blues is a Doc Watson song. Deep River. Seems like I've probably heard it, but I don't know it, you know. Wavy Gravy. According to my wife, the giant North American sloth is not extinct. In fact, she's married to one of them. Oh. Well, she could probably make a lot of money putting you on exhibit. Anyway, I think that's about everything we've got for today. I hit the wrong button by accident, and then I hit another wrong button trying to get back. Anyway, I think that's about all we have for today. Thanks for being here. We will see you tomorrow with something else. So take care, and we'll see you then.